on a historic day in the history of Egypt, of course, the parliamentary elections. Given that over 34 million voters were eligible to this phase, how do you assess the media narrative around citizen engagement and what it tells about the level of public ownership of the process, sir?
Thank you for having me on QNews. Of course, the second phase is completely different from the first one, and what actually boosted this feeling even more is changing some of the things that we're trying to manipulate or influence the elections, and also the authorities, the security authorities, and also the NEA are being very strict with the measures in laws that they are implementing, especially after President El Sisi's remarks, and they are doing everything they can so that nothing can manipulate the vote or affect the elections. We saw the lines today, and the people queuing. The turnout rate was actually higher today than yesterday, and we've seen the voters insisting on casting their votes, even though the polling stations have been open since 9 a.m. But some of the polling stations still are still witnessing long queues up till now, and even just an hour and a half away from the end of this elections phase. And so this is a very positive indicator, and we've seen a high turnout rate, especially here in the second phase, and we've seen people being optimistic, positively optimistic about the results of the elections. And we cannot also forget that there are some of the districts that will have a rerun. There were some districts that were cancelled, and then also 70% of these seats will be rerun for. And
Sir,
so
of
this
course,
means
we're so happy that you see and that everyone sees that the elections are positive and the process is positive with, sir, with transparency and given, of course, sir, the emphasizing of with presidency and the NEA emphasizing voter participation and proper procedures. What signals do you see that the electorate perceives this election as meaningful, sir?
Of course, I can say that here before President El Sisi's remarks, things were completely different, and we're witnessing today. This is a transformation. Everyone is very keen and very alert to any attempt to influence or violate any of the laws of the NEA. We cannot see any of the parties trying to campaign in front of and beside the polling stations. And also we have seen some negative things that happened before. They're no longer here in the second phase, and the authorities are being very fast with how they deal with the election and with the violations. And so yes, the people feel that elections are being held with integrity and full transparency, and the people feel that they are choosing people who are truly deserving of
Sir,
their
it's
vote, and no
perfect
one is
that
trying to.
people feel that the elections are moving on with the integrity and with full transparency. The elections, sir, featured both individual seat contests and list seats. How does this mixed model support greater representation of diverse interests, such as youth and women, in the new parliament, sir?
Of course, there is a huge turnout from all the community. We've seen women and we've seen women voting, lots of them, and we've seen female candidates as well. Uh, Lots of women spent long hours in the polling stations to cast their
Yes,
votes, and
sir.
they
It's
even
very
took their
obvious. It's
children.
very obvious. It's very obvious in the pictures, of course, that we're seeing and we're screening that the women turnout is unprecedented and is very high. Sir, in your view, how significant are the procedural improvements reported this round, such as accessibility for voters with disabilities, in reflecting the transparency and reliability of the results?
Means that everyone has the right to cast their vote, and it doesn't mean that if someone is with special needs or just is old, then they cannot cast their vote. And so all these matters that the authorities did to facilitate things for people with special needs and for the seniors. Also they were facilitations that happen once they arrive at the polling stations, and so yes, the whole community can participate: women, seniors, and elderly people, people with special needs, and the youth. And for the first time here, this is the first time that they care about this much. And even in the polling stations, things are written in a very simple way and in large fonts, so that people can choose who to represent them easily. And they're also making sure that there are no violations or any attempts to influence the voters' opinions. And then also the international monitoring organizations have actually praised the elections. There is a large number of governorates that they have praised, and also the delegations having are in these governorates monitoring the elections, and all of them have praised the electoral process here, and that there is a huge and noticeable progress in in the facilitations that are offered to the voters, and that there are no violations happening anymore.
Many independent candidates, as well as party nominees, took part in this phase. How does the media coverage you oversaw reflect their messages? And do you believe these candidates are poised to bring fresh voice into the chamber, sir?
Yeah, of course, this is a very important question here, especially after the president's remarks to deal with any violations or incidents happening that have happened in the first phase. And this means that we will have a run for lots of districts for the first phase. But for the second phase here, there is a large number of individual candidates. Either they are completely independent, or some of them weren't listed in the unified list. And so having these candidates participate in the elections, and also interacting with the main parties, of course this increased noticeably in the second phase. And so this means that there is a chance for all the candidates to win, actually, according to how many people voted for them and supported them, without trying to influence them with bribery, or trying to influence their vote. And so yes, I think that people here, the candidates here, have a very high chance to win, and also for the rerun of the first phase, especially that lots of them have what it takes to win, and are already loved by so many people in governorates. But in Cairo here, and in Colombia as well, the parties are supporting their candidates to win these seats, to make sure that we will have a great representation in the parliament.
Sir, what responsibilities does the incoming parliament carry in aligning with citizen expectation, and how is that reflected in campaign discourse?
And this is also a very important question. What matters here, or the whole point of the electoral process, is electing the best people out there, or the best candidates to represent the people. We cannot forget that there are so many or so much geopolitical changes and so much going on in the region. And Egypt, of course, is one of the countries in the region and is being affected, and so good representation and choosing the candidates wisely. This means that the members in the parliament, in the House of Senators and the House of Representatives, will be they will be chosen wisely, and they will choose the people who can deal with such huge geopolitical changes and regional tensions. And this means that the more, or the better tools offered to these candidates, this means that we will have better results with the parliament, and of course this benefits Egypt and the Egyptians. Good representation means good parliament in the future, and there are lots of economic and social, and also of course national security, regional security causes. They depend heavily on the parliament.
The annulment of earlier results in some constituencies has been framed as a sign of corrective institutional action. From your own vantage point, how does the media narrative treat this as a positive reinforcement of transparency?
First of all, this is a very important question. There is some kind of media cooperation, especially after President Al-Sisi's statement about representation and not trying to influence the elections. The media is dealing with this very well, and also any attempts to manipulate the elections is being deducted immediately. And the parties are working together. We've seen in the second phase the monitoring rooms of the parties are actually paying very close attention, and they are working in coordination with the NEA and with the United Group as well. They are putting so much effort to monitor and supervise the elections, and they're following up better than any media or any news channels, and they are making sure that they are present. And so media presence and following up with the officials and with the monitoring rooms with of the parties. This means that there is better communication to show all the to show everything about the electoral process and the results that we'll be having. And also the expected rerun means more votes and starting a new round of elections. And so there is still a chance for almost all the seats, or for the majority of the individual seats in the rerun. In some districts, there was a success from the first round, and I think that the second phase will witness even more success. But in the rerun, there will also be a high turnout, and yes, and we will see good representation in the parliament.